Okay, there we go. All right, welcome to the Breakthrough Emotional Eating podcast. My name is Kristen Jones, and thank you so much, as always, for joining me this week for the podcast. Now, over the past few months, I would say, I have not necessarily I love having interviews. I love spotlighting clients and members in the group who are, successfully working their program, and not only working their program, but changing their lives. And when I say working their program, I mean that I do have, and I will not call it's not a diet program. It is more, I don't know, Julie, what would you call it? Is it like a life-changing program? What would you call the
completely life-changing?
Yeah. It's really not, you lose weight, and Julie will talk about losing weight, but it changes so much more about you. And it's called the Breakthrough Membership. And I have the members in the Breakthrough Emotional Eating community have access to a lot of aspects of the program as well. But when you go into the membership, there's a much deeper dive, and really lots of coursework, lots of things that you can do to really dive in and really dial in what really helps people figure out their why behind why they were eating and overeating so much in the first place, and then understanding how your brain works, putting all of those things together, and then losing weight in a way that is how you want to live the rest of your life. It's not a diet. It's not restrictive. It's not depriving, but it does change a lot of how you think and a lot of how you believe about yourself. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because I have I'm hearing some feedback. Kathy, are you hearing anything weird on the report? I'm just hearing something. I'm getting some kickback from me as well, so I'm going to make sure I don't sound strange. So yeah, Kathy, just jump in if you hear anything weird. I might be too close to my microphone. All right, this will have. Oh, good, nothing weird. Okay, fabulous. Now Kristen gets to edit that. So I want to introduce everybody on the podcast to Julie Pitts. And Julie, I am so geography, never my strength. I ask you all the time. We've known each other for like 2 years, and I get my 2 A states confused. So Julie, tell me again, which state are you from that starts with an A?
From Alabama.
Alabama. See, I was dead set. It's Arkansas. I know it's Arkansas. And then I always mess it up. I always do. There's something about those A states. And don't ask me where they are either, because I won't know that either.
Oh.
So
yeah,
no way. Won't know it. But Julie and I met just about 2 years ago. It was just about, it was probably, I think it was February when you started working with me.
Yeah.
And so about 2 years ago. And Julie, I'm going to let you kind of just introduce yourself. And I would love for you to have you tell people again, specifically where you're from and what you do, and kind of how you came to the program and what you were looking for, and kind of why you signed up, because it's a little bit, it's not necessarily like the straightforward, like, hey, lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks or anything like that.
No.
But so I'd love for you to share with everybody kind of what kind of motivated you to join, and yeah, just hear all the things. So please introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Julie. I'm from North Alabama, Decatur specifically, but that's close to Huntsville, where all the space and rocket stuff is. So where the Von Braun Civic Center is, which he was like headed up NASA, I don't know, 80 years ago. So and I am a histotechnologist. I work in a pathology lab, and that means that I process biopsy specimens for the pathologist to look at and review and see if people have cancer or not.
Very important job.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And I got into the program. I just have been on every single diet that you could possibly imagine. Except for the ones that were too restrictive, that didn't sound good,
Right.
I never did the South Beach diet or something like that, but I've done just so much. I've done Weight Watchers. I couldn't even tell you how many times.
Mhm.
and lost weight on all of them. Um, I one time lost, I don't know, I think it was 60 pounds on, close to 60 pounds on Weight Watchers, but I have always gained it back. And then I always gain weight. I just gain weight.
Mhm.
So once I would stop because I would plateau or get sick of it,
Mhm.
and I would just stop and just say, forget it. And instead of trying to kind of stay, I would just go back to the same way I was before. I
Mhm.
would completely forget everything I was doing. I wasn't going to be restricted anymore. And I would gain all the way back plus some.
Mhm.
So I knew it was emotionally driven somehow, because just because I eat when I'm not hungry,
Mhm.
So I just started looking around, and somehow thank God, your your page popped up, and I just got on it and started exploring around. And I remember after I got on the page, it wasn't a week, probably it was just a few days, and you sent me an email and you were like, are you interested,
Mhm.
or in anything else, or do you want to just look around? And I said, I just want to look around for a while. And you're like, okay, take what you want from it. And we're, totally fine with that. And I got a lot out of it for a good while. I started losing some weight. Um, but there's just so much more. this when you look, just using the podcast that you have and things like this, you're like, whoa, this is me to a T, and I've got to learn how
Mhm.
to deal with it.
Right.
And
Right.
and it was a lot of learning for me. It took
Mhm.
me a long time,
Mhm.
but patience is the key, and
Right.
persistence.
Right. So when we started, one of the things I remember you saying in particular, because one of the things that we talk a lot about is the thoughts that we have in our head. And I remember you saying, I don't know if you and I were on a call or if we were in a group coaching call, and you said, I don't have any thoughts in my head. Like I don't, like you all are talking about these thoughts and I don't hear any thoughts. I don't, and how long did you not hear any thoughts in your head? I think it was a few months.
Honest, a long time. Yeah. I mean, it was more than a few months. It was probably. I think the problem was I didn't acknowledge them,
Hmm.
um, and I didn't want to hear them. Just like any other time, it's like I wanted to do what I wanted to do. So,
Right.
but I just buried them.
Hmm.
You know. So
Hmm.
yeah, I would say probably more like 4 or 5 months,
Hmm.
maybe 6.
And you were
It was a
still,
long time.
you were still losing weight. You were, I mean, because
I was.
you've been very consistent. You were still losing weight, but and I remember there was we also talked. There was another coaching call. We talked about emotions and describing and using words to describe your emotions. And I remember you were like, I don't know. I'm happy or sad. That's it. Like, those were the only two
Yeah.
you could not. And you really, and you were, and I remember you were so sweet because you said, I'm just listening to all of you and I don't have any of what you all are talking about. And you were just really honest about it. And you said, I know it's going to come, but I'm not hearing those. I'm not hearing those thoughts. I'm not able to identify my emotions, but
No.
girl, when you did, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I never wanted to feel emotions. I just wanted to bury them.
Hmm.
I didn't want to feel any of them. So
Hmm.
I think that's why I ate, you know,
Right.
uh,
Right.
because when I did, I was immediately happy.
Hmm.
It content, I was not anything. I felt better.
Right. Right.
So,
And so when you, and I remember you and Debbie have said the same thing about recognizing that you don't have to listen to what your brain says. You don't have to listen to the thoughts that you're being told, especially about eating.
yeah.
And your famous line that always makes me laugh is, I always thought when my brain told me to eat a taco, I was supposed to eat a taco. And when you realize that you didn't have to do that anymore, you got to talk back and say no, then all of a sudden it
Yeah.
was like mind
Yeah.
blowing.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
if it was the middle of the day and I was going down the road and, oh, pull in there and get a taco, that
Hmm.
sounds good. And it
Hmm.
wasn't lunchtime or supper time I wasn't hungry. There was
Right.
no reason.
Right.
It's just,
Yeah. So how long would you say it took you to, because one of the, for those people who are listening who are not necessarily familiar with the program, and for many people who, if you're new in the group, the one of the main well, a couple of the main kind of tenets of the program is that you do eat what you want to eat. I don't give you a food list. There's no, you can eat anything you want, but you always eat to satisfied. And eating to satisfied is definitely a learned behavior because it
Yes.
requires that you are present when you're eating, like mentally present. We're all sitting there eating, but it's like, are you mentally and in your brain paying attention to how much you're eating, being aware of what's going on, how you're feeling, and then and how those feelings impact how much you eat. And how long would, I always am hesitant to ever say like how long until you mastered it, because I don't know if anyone ever masters
Mhm.
it. It's always a work in progress. But what would you say, how long do you think it took you before you really started, getting in touch with your body and realizing, oh, I need to stop, and then actually leaving food on your plate?
Yeah, it was probably 6 or 8 months. I mean,
Mhm.
um I was eating less, obviously, because I was losing weight.
Mhm.
So I was eating less. Now, leaving food on your plate is a scary thing.
Yeah.
That to me.
Mhm.
So I don't like leaving a bite of food on my plate, you know.
Right.
And I'll tell you this, it's something I'm struggling with right now. We were talking about it the other day in homework group. I think it's like I've turned it into this thing, like a visual thing instead of my mind. I just put this amount of food on my plate because I know it's just a little bit, and I've zoned out,
So
and I'm
you're
just
going
going
to
to
eat
eat
the whole
that
thing.
much.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm going to eat. Yeah. I'm like, oh, this is just a little, and I'm going to just zone out and I eat it, you know.
Mhm.
And that's what I've been struggling with for a couple weeks. I think because I'm too tired to worry about it.
Right.
but
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
but I'm not listening because I know I could stop.
Mhm.
And I know the best thing I ever heard, to me, this is what hit home for me, was Lori, one of the ladies that's in the group. She said she had learned one thing: when the first time you sigh when you're
Mhm.
eating, when
Mhm.
you take that first, like,
Mhm.
she's like, you're supposed to stop right then. And that was the first thing that really was like, oh, that was like the first thing I could grab onto that said,
Right.
hey,
Mhm.
this is, you know, this is something to pay attention to. This is
Mhm.
something you can watch for,
Mhm. Mhm.
because
Yeah.
figuring out when you're satisfied is hard. So, like,
Right.
to have that tangible thing that I could really pay attention to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that helped.
Yeah. So you and I had worked together, had worked closely together, kind of we did some one-on-one work, and then we stopped working together, and you were at a certain level, and you how long do you think you stayed at that level? And this is, y'all, this is the part where Julie was the one who was stuck and then became unstuck, and so this is the stuck and unstuck part of the story. So you had gotten to a certain level. How long do you think you had stayed in what we could call a plateau, essentially?
Oh, I know it was 6 months.
6 months. 6 months.
It was 6 months.
6 months, y'all. And you didn't lose any weight, but you also didn't gain any weight.
Yeah, I would maybe fluctuate just a teeny little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just right there for 6 months.
Right.
And I remember a coaching call that I had with you, and you kept telling me, you're right where you need to be. You're
Mm-hmm.
there for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I'm like, whatever, okay. I want to lose weight. But I have learned, I'm thankful now for that 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
because it has helped me realize that um, it will come. And I had like health issues going on that was
That's
keeping
right.
me from losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
And but thankfully I didn't gain and I didn't give up, because normally I would have.
Right, right. And I think that's the key, is that there was never a question of you not continuing to try.
Mm-mm.
It was always just, there's something going on. And you did have some medical things that were happening, as well as, if I remember correctly, it was in the summertime too. And I think you were going camping, you were doing
I was.
yeah, you had a lot of activity going on. And so but that was, and I think that's the thing that I always want to remind people is we get so focused on, we're always supposed to be like, if you want to lose weight and you have say 100 pounds to lose, or 200 pounds, whatever it is, if we get to a plateau and we stop, suddenly we think because we're not losing any more weight, that like if it was 50 pounds, you plateau. It's like that 50 pounds never happened. People are just like, forget it. This is a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you forget that 50 pounds is still, that you still lost that. And that's still something, that's what you want to hold on to. And people just, they just throw everything out and, oh, this isn't going to work. It's not working. And we just go back to the
Yep.
way we did things. And you did. And I remember you, when we did get on a call, I remember you saying like I never thought about, I was frustrated, but I never thought about giving up. It was just like, there was just something going on. We were going to figure out what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I didn't.
yeah, what did, what did we end up talking about? What was the thing that changed for you?
Affirmation.
Mhm.
And, and so, and like I talk to myself all the time now, and I hear everything my brain says,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and I talk back to it. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
you can change your thoughts, that when you said that at first, you can change your thing. No, but you can't. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but the
I
affirmations are really important.
Right. And we specifically, if I remember correctly, we did affirmations specifically directed towards fear. We talked about fears that you had. And I will tell everyone, when no weight loss journey ever is always going down. You're always you're gonna level out. You're gonna go up a little bit. You're gonna come back down. And then you're gonna go down again. It's not gonna be a consistent down. And so most of the time, I'm going to say, and not most of the time, all of the time, there are going to be things that are going to kind of present themselves as roadblocks. And most likely, in almost all cases, they are somehow connected to fear. And it's subconscious fear that your brain has about you losing weight. Now, I know that seems so hard to imagine, because you'd be like, why would I ever be afraid of losing weight? Why would I be afraid of that? Well, there are a lot of things that
Mhm.
there's a lot and it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how much weight you have to lose. There are always going to be there can be little fears that are associated with it. And so I remember you and I talked about some of the fears, and then we connected and created affirmations that kind of
Yeah.
dispelled those fears. And so I remember we had our meeting, and then you went off, and I didn't probably talk to you for probably 2 weeks, and, just saw you, on calls and things. And then the next time I saw you on a coaching call, I was like, so Julie, so how's everything going? How much? And you were like, yeah, I'm like 10 pounds down. And I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Why didn't you call me? But
Yeah.
it was so amazing that you were able to refocus. You were able to again, really incorporate. And would you share with everybody, because I think what you do, and you've shared it with so many ladies in the membership as well, would you share with the listeners and the people who are in the group right now what you did? Because you just didn't, it wasn't just like, oh yeah, I said a couple affirmations in the morning, or I just wrote them out. You were very systematic and very routine, and you definitely had a system set up, and you were very serious about it. So would you share with everybody what you did to incorporate those affirmations and really get those changes happening?
Um, yeah, the first thing I did was write a page of affirmations down and took a screenshot or took a picture of it,
Mhm.
and I put that as the wallpaper on my phone. So every time I open my phone, my
Mhm.
affirmations were there.
Right.
And then also on the once you open your phone up, I have another picture of affirmations, because you have like the wallpaper and then you have the one where all your little apps are. So
Mhm.
that's got another. But I also downloaded the I Am app, which is an affirmation app,
Mhm.
and I set it to go off 10 times a day, and it sends me affirmations 10 times a day.
10 times a
And
day, y'all. 10 times.
10,
She won't
10
play 'em.
times. Yeah, 10
And
times a day.
now, were they these affirmations, the I, and it's I am, like, I am. And these were not affirmations that necessarily that you and I had created, but they were affirmations that the app actually provided for you as well. So you had your own, and then the app was actually providing you with other affirmations as well.
Right. And you just kind of pick your like categories that you
Mm-hmm.
want it,
Mm-hmm.
so, I did like anxiety and weight loss and
Mm-hmm.
just different things like that. So it's kind of geared toward what you choose.
Right. Right. So how long would you say you were, writing your affirmations in the morning, doing, and you were back doing your meal planner, you were, doing what you needed to do in order to kind of, start your day off. And so you had your affirmations in the morning, and then you got your 10 affirmations. How long would you say, because I know that's what everybody's thinking, like, well, how long until you start seeing your results? So for you, how long do you think it was until you were really like kind of got yourself focused in? And you've done a lot of other work. It's not like the affirmations were just magic. It was like you
Yeah.
had all this other stuff you were doing as well.
Yeah. Well, once it finally hit me that it wasn't crazy, because at first affirmations, I didn't even mess with affirmations.
No.
I mean, for probably a year or
Mm-hmm.
10
Mm-hmm.
months, I thought this is nuts. I'm not going to sit here and say this stuff that, you say it like it's already happening,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't having it. And
She
so,
she would give me the major eye roll of like, oh, you're joking again.
yeah,
Kristen's mentioning this.
yeah, yes.
And I
But,
loved her through
you
it,
know,
y'all.
she did. She just would, it's okay.
It's okay. Whenever you're ready, it's okay.
Whenever you're ready. That's right. And it's just stuff will hit you at different times,
Mm-hmm.
stuff
Mm-hmm.
comes to you, and it might be just one thing that one particular person says that just,
Right.
finally knocks you upside the head,
Right.
and you finally get it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Would you, and so talk a little bit about, because, and you now are very, very different than you were when you first came in the group, because now you are very vocal in our coaching calls. But in the beginning, it was really helpful for you to have those group calls, because you would just sit and listen, and you would hear what people were saying, and you would just pick up on things. And how how does that for you, like, how does it work when you hear someone else talking about something, and you just, I mean, is it just kind of like one of those, oh, okay, I get it, because she's saying it, it's not me saying it, she's saying it, and now I can hear it in a different way, and it seems to connect.
That really does. It's so helpful to have the meetings and listen to everybody else. Um everybody, there's so many people in our group, they're very introspective, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just not. I just am on the top, I just lay it out there. I don't have all that introspective stuff, but but just getting to listen to all these ladies, say the things they say, and then I can put it in my own
Mm-hmm.
terms then,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. and
Yeah.
and that's what's helped me get all of this,
Mm-hmm.
is the coaching calls, the homework calls.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have just kept reading and listening to you telling us how to do it,
Mm-hmm.
that's so different than listening to somebody's experience.
Mm-hmm. Right. 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 So that's
So,
and that's, people will always, kind of ask, and always, they're curious, like, what's the difference between being in the, and y'all, people have lost weight in the free group without being a part of the
mhm,
membership. They absolutely have. And that is, I'm, if you're if you're in the group, I have a lot of free stuff. There's all sorts. There's my
yeah,
free course. There's my welcome guide. I mean, I give you videos, I give you planners. I mean, all those things. But there's something different about immersing yourself in it, and really, eh, just really in just working the program. And that's, I think you were the one who said, if you work the program works.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And
And
it's
you've
just,
got to work the program.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
I needed help working the program, because
right.
I'm not introspective, and I never dealt with my feelings. I
Mm-hmm,
never dealt with emotions.
Right.
I didn't know how to pull all that stuff out,
Mhm. Mhm.
and deal with it. So just having everybody support and everybody, like, so many people have been through the same things that I have, and,
Right.
hearing it from somebody else and how they dealt with it, or,
Yeah.
has been very helpful.
Yeah. So where are you now? You can share with, if you want to share with everybody, how much weight have you lost in the last 2 years?
I have lost 86.5 pounds.
86.5 pounds, y'all. Now you are as you talked about, you work in a medical lab. So how many cycles and pairs of scrubs have you had to change out of? Have you had to go, how many sizes down have you had to go in your scrubs? Because I know we've talked about how they fall
Um,
off sometimes.
yeah. So my aunt, the first time I had my aunt take them in, and then I have needed to have her take them in again, and I've just
Mhm.
been wearing them. They look like balloons. So finally, the other day, they do. My best friend, she was like, "Girl, you need to get some new clothes." she said, she just told. So I finally went the other day and bought new scrubs because I was going to either have to have her take these in again, or.
Right.
And I'm wearing scrubs that I couldn't even fit in. Like, not only I'm not in the biggest size in the scrubs.
Mhm.
I couldn't even fit in the biggest size of these scrubs. I
Mhm.
could not wear them. And
Mhm.
now I'm in a 2X,
Mm.
where they go up to a 5X,
Mhm.
and I couldn't wear the 5X.
Mm. That's
So
amazing.
yeah. So,
So
and
you
scrubs, they don't give. They don't
no.
lie. They don't. So, you know,
And you are,
so it's
probably
a
what,
lot.
about, are you 20 or 30 pounds less than when you got married?
I am, let's see, 27 and a half
27 and a half
pounds
pounds
less
less.
than when I got married. When I got
Yeah.
married 28 years ago.
Yeah, so you,
So
this has been a battle for you for your entire life.
my entire life,
And so it really.
because
Mhm.
of just, I think the way I was brought up and
Mhm.
what I held on to, and
Right.
I kept holding on to it,
Mhm.
didn't know how to let it go.
Right. Right. Exactly. And that's really
So
what we talk about, is that the whole idea of kind of figuring it out, and then realizing, like, don't need to hold on to that. That's not serving, it's not serving you, it's not serving anyone. So
mm-mm.
let's just let that go and move on with our lives, and start to move forward with whatever beliefs we want to have. And that's another thing that we talk so much about,
Yeah,
what do we want to believe about our lives, and what do we want to believe about, just what we can have. And the I think the we've you and I've been through, a lot of ups and downs with your job situation, with all sorts of stuff. And it's like, I remember one of the things when that was a little um unknown. And it was always just, we talked about you going and getting into a job. It was like, well, what do you want to do? What do you, and it was, and you really started, like, thinking bigger than, okay, well, this is what I want. And I want to have flexibility, and I want to have all these things. And that's the part that's the life changing, because that's just you realizing that you deserve so much,
yeah,
you deserve the best that you can have.
yeah.
And now you didn't even have to leave your job. You still got it. So
And I didn't have to leave my job,
yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
I don't have to be 50 years old and still trying to punish my dad for,
Ex- exactly.
and in turn really hurting myself, not him.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big one for me. It's,
Yeah.
I have lived my entire life trying to punish him, and
Hmm.
I've just done this to myself,
Hmm.
in the
Hmm.
process.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So,
that's so amazing. What would you say to somebody who is thinking about, they're listening to this, and they're like, well, I just don't know if
mm,
$59 a month is worth it. I just don't know. It seems like it might be a lot of work, and it might be really hard. And what would you say to somebody who's just kind of thinking, like, I don't know. I don't know about this woman. Me, I'm talking about me.
mm. I would just say, do you want to lose the weight and be able to keep it off or not?
Hmm.
Because just like I said, I have tried so many diets for my whole life.
Hmm.
I mean, I was overweight when I was in high school, when I was in middle school. And this one affirmation, and the end of it, is what gets me now. I believe in my ability to lose weight, and here's the part, and keep it off.
Mm-hmm.
Because before I didn't believe in my ability to keep it off.
Right.
And that's why I'm thankful for that 6 months
Mm-hmm.
of sitting still
Yeah.
and not giving up, because I know I can keep it off. I
Right.
know I can do it.
Right. Yeah. I
So
mean, now you have the proof because you were like, okay,
I do.
I sat through and I got through that. And it wasn't like your life was miserable. You were doing hiking and you were doing all sorts of fun stuff. It wasn't
Yeah.
like you were just so focused on this and, oh, this is so horrible. When am I going to start losing weight again? It was just like, okay, this is this season. This is what we're doing. And then again, you reevaluated things. We made a couple of little tweaks, and y'all, we never tweaked anything that Julie ate. Julie eats like she's always having hamburgers, and she's always, but she is the queen of the air fryer. I will say that. She
Yeah.
will green beans and asparagus.
Asparagus, oh, salmon,
Yeah.
all the stuff. Yeah. The air fryer is fabulous.
Yeah, but you really, I mean, you are eating, and you eat exactly what your husband eats. I mean, you guys eat,
Oh yeah.
you make dinner for everybody, and you are always and you go out and you have your fajitas, because we know how you like your fajitas, and
Yep. I
yeah.
actually had mashed potatoes for breakfast the other day, because they came with my lunch, and
Right.
I didn't need them with my lunch because I
Mhm.
had, a meat and another side. And I said, well, just I'll take them home and have them. And I thought, I got up that morning, I thought that just sounds good. So I just
Yeah.
got me a little of those mashed potatoes. That's what I had for lunch, for
Yeah.
breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. I
You know?
love that. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is so good. So, if there's again, for anyone who is, and I think I really do, um, Julie's just commitment to herself, as well as her commitment to not giving up on herself, is really is and I as she said, that's not something necessarily that she had before we started working together. Before she started,
Mhm.
started in the membership, she didn't have that belief, but that belief came over time. And the three things that I always talk about is time, patience, and consistency. And time for yourself, patience with yourself, and then being consistent. And that means doing the work and actually putting the energy in and showing up on the calls and doing all those things. And you've always done that. And then you're now reaping the rewards of that. How much, just for everybody else's, not how much more weight do you want to lose?
I would love to lose at least 50 pounds.
Okay. Excellent.
And I'll see then,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I would love to lose another 50 pounds at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you're not
But
gonna you're not gonna see about it. It's gonna happen. So
well, it's gonna happen. It's
yeah.
gonna happen. I know it is. Um,
Yeah.
I'm very thankful, and I just say, it is hard work, yes, and it is, I everybody puts a lot of time into it, but it is so worth it in the end. And the freedom that your mind gets, the
Mm-hmm.
freedom you feel when you can learn to let loose of things that
Mm-hmm.
you don't have any control over,
Mm-hmm.
quit trying to control people. um, it's very freeing.
Yeah.
So, you're gonna do a whole lot more than just lose weight.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that is the perfect way to end things. So, Julie, thank you so much for your time. As always, I could just sit and talk to you anyway, which sometimes we do. we'll
We
just
do.
we'll just talk. Let's talk anyway. But thank you so much for your time and for sharing your story, because
Thank
I think
you.
it really will inspire so many people. If you are listening to this, if you're listening to this or you're in the group and you're watching this and you want to learn more about the Breakthrough membership, and as Julie said, Julie was in the group, she was doing what she was doing, and was losing weight, but she knew there was so much more, and it really didn't even have any idea about how much more she needed to lose, needed to get to learn, and was able to learn that when she came into the membership. And here we are 86 pounds later. So if you have questions and you want some information about the Breakthrough membership, please go ahead in the comments. You can, in the comments on the Facebook Live, if you're in the, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you absolutely can send me a message. I will put a link in the show notes for you to direct message me. I'll also put my email, and just get some information and find out about it. It's again, it's a monthly membership. It's $59 a month, and I I I can promise you that you will be different. You will be different once you experienced and just learned just a tiny bit of what we do in the membership. And I think it could be a really incredible experience for you. And it's a month to month thing. So nobody's locked into anything.
That's right.
Um, but once you get in, it's like you get hooked because everybody is so stinking nice too. So we
Yeah.
just have
So supportive.
such an amazing community, and it really is it is definitely a place for growth and a place for support and encouragement and just connectedness. So all right, y'all, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Julie, again, thank you. Love you, and thank you
Thank
so much
you. Love you.
for doing that. And I will see you all next week. Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful week. All right, everybody. Bye. Julie, stick around.